This is News 3 at 6.
We are this week dealing with uncharted waters, so to speak. We have not before ever seen a rain event like we did Monday evening.
Thousands of downtown Madison residents are now waiting to see just how much more water will spill over from the lakes and fill downtown. And an apartment building for seniors on Madison's west side is being evacuated right now, 96 units. This is at Prairie Park on Schrader Road, a building inspection determining that the conditions are simply uninhabitable. A lot of water getting into that building during Monday night's heavy rain. Our team coverage of this week's flooding continues at this hour. We are monitoring the rising water and the chance of even more rain across the area, and we're checking in on those communities along the Sugar River as well. We head now to News 3's Amy Reed, who is live in Madison. Amy?
We're about a block back from East Washington. You can see the intersection is flooded. It's not just the Yahar River. This is the flooding the city is worried about coming from overfull storm sewers, and it's worrying the people that live around here too.
We are thinking about that boats will be a better choice at this point in a way of transportation.
Water is starting to seep into Madison's Near East Side, coming up from storm drains, covering roads, and getting in the way of routine.
Sammy has to go for exercise. He's a half border collie, you know, and I don't have the choice of not exercising him.
The water starts here at the Tenney Dam on Lake Mendota. The county opened the dam as far as it could go to relieve bulging levels on Mendota's shoreline. The city said this is the best way to avoid putting too much pressure on the dam, which might cause it to burst. But rising lake levels will still cause problems. Lifeguards out to save park buildings while swimmers are away. The city said this water is something they've never seen. They said if the water comes over East Washington, they'll shut the whole thing down. But it's not just endangering roadways. The city is looking out for buildings and homes. They said this is not to be taken lightly.
It's an unprecedented event. You cannot go by what you've seen in the past as you're deciding what to do in regards to this event.
But while Helga braces her first floor condo for the impending water, she can't help but try and see the situation for the best.
We didn't expect lakefront today. At least we're not paying the taxes for lakefront quite yet.
Now, if the city does have to close East Washington, they have a traffic plan in place. They said they'll divert traffic to Willie Street, which means no parking there, and plan extra time for your commute. Back to you.
Creating major issues in downtown Madison. Amy Reed on the east side. Amy, thank you. The additional water from Lake Mendota is expected to affect Lake Monona as well. Our Madeline O'Neill is live in Monona now. Maddie?
Eric, city and county workers, along with volunteers, have been hard at work here at Oneida Park since about 8 this morning, working to fill sandbags to help residents protect their homes from potential flooding. Now, it's sunny out right now, but as we know, rain is in the forecast, and an expected 3-inch rise in Lake Monona just near here is expected after Lake Mendota is having additional waters released. County workers, city workers, prison inmates are here volunteering and working together today to help businesses and homeowners.
Well, it's really a race against time to protect the homes of Monona from the rising level of the lake, and so having a lot of hands make light work. We're filling thousands of sandbags per hour to try to help out our neighbors.
Volunteers were here yesterday as well, sandbagging until about 9 at night, and they say they'll be here as long as it takes this evening as well. And now the city is providing sandbagging materials at 3 other locations in Monona. Again, we're here at Oneida Park, one of the 4 locations. They're also asking for more volunteers. They say the more hands on deck, the better. Eric?
And Maddie, those other locations are on the City of Monona's website, which is mymonona.com. Interlake Drive, parking lot at Winnequa Road and Healy Lane, as well as the River Place cul-de-sac. People living in those low-lying areas, those flood-prone areas, should be prepared to protect their property from water. The city offering free sand and ready-to-fill sandbags at locations. This throughout the City of Madison. Just visit the City of Madison website. That's cityofmadison.com for more information. Remember to report any of your property damage to the United Way's 211 line. The flooding closing roads all over downtown Madison, as Amy mentioned. East Johnson Street is closed both directions, North Baldwin to Fordham Avenue. You can see that water on the road there. Alder Liddell Zellers posted an update on her blog saying city officials are preparing to close one lane of East Wash. Zellers says the traffic will then be rerouted to Willie Street. If East Wash becomes impassable, no one will be able to park along Willie Street until tomorrow sometime, reiterating what Amy Reed reported shortly ago. That could also be a little bit longer time, so be patient with parking. The city encouraging people to check its site. Again, cityofmadison.com for updated road information. We'll also have it at channel3000.com. You also check the site if you're a bus rider in Madison. Metro transit routes are being detoured as the water continues to fill their routes. If you need to catch a bus over the next few days, check the Madison Metro Transit website for specific route information. We also need to be worried, of course, about the possibility of more rain. It is imminent tomorrow. Let's check in with meteorologist Dave Caulfield. Dave?
Yeah, we're quiet right now on the radar, Eric, but that won't be the case going into tomorrow. Let's take a look at our next storm system right now affecting the Dakotas and Montana, bringing severe weather to South Dakota right now. There is a chance of some severe weather tomorrow for southern Wisconsin, just adding that to the laundry list of things that we need to watch out for as we head into Friday. Downtown Madison, the Edgewater Skycam looking calm right now, but again, rain showers and thunderstorms on the way for tomorrow. Right now at 74 with calm winds. That 2 point still comfortably in the mid-50s. Some other temps at 78 in Boscobel, 75 Janesville, and 74 in Watertown. The dew point not that bad. Starting to see a little bit of an increase closer to southwestern Wisconsin, and wind speeds out of the south at about 8 to 15 miles per hour. So this evening, temperatures will fall through the 70s into the upper 60s. We'll see increasing clouds as that low pressure system gets closer. Will remain mild. We'll track those showers and thunderstorms tomorrow into Saturday. Talk about possible rain totals in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, Dave, thank you. Part of the UW campus also at risk of flooding. The UW Center for Limnology is right on Lake Mendota. Water seeping inside the building. The facilities and equipment manager put up an inflatable dike there to try to keep out the rising lake levels. He says everything should be okay if it doesn't go over that dike, but if it does, he says all of this summer's research samples and some archive samples could be at risk. They study the lakes there, and several Madison parks are closed right now. They are listed right there on your screen. All of the Madison beaches are closed as well. There is no word yet on when things may reopen. Greene County Emergency Management monitoring the Sugar River as it continues to rise. Water that started up in Black Earth and Mazomanie coming down the Sugar River watershed now, as News 3's Rose Schmidt tells us it is now headed to Broadhead.
The Pearl Island corridor is typically used for nature trails or campgrounds. But as you walk that trail, you'll find this. Yep, you guessed it, that water does not typically cover the trail. Luckily though, that's the way the trail over Decatur Lake was designed, to handle overflow from the Sugar River.
We do expect the river to rise up to a foot yet before it starts going down late tomorrow.
That water is coming downstream from communities like Belleville and Albany, now coming into Broadhead.
Where the Harley flag or the electrical outlet box, that's like where the cement wall is, where we fish at.
As Carrie Cotter looks across the lake, she sees what used to be part of her yard.
I got home and it was like 5 feet into our yard. And then in like a couple hours, it just kept coming and coming and coming.
The Greene County Sheriff's Office took to the skies to track the lake's water levels.
So we're keeping a very careful eye on this, as we did yesterday in Albany. It came up very fast in Albany. At one time, it's coming up a foot an hour.
They want to make people aware of road closures, like this one on Decatur Road.
And also, if you go around barricades, we don't want anyone doing that. And in Greene County, you will get a $175 fine if you go around a barricade.
As the water in Decatur Lake continues to travel at a fast rate, people who live closest to it are just praying for no more rain, even though it's in the forecast.
So hopefully it doesn't get any higher. They say it might get higher tonight and tomorrow, rain again tomorrow.
Greene County Emergency Management will continue to monitor any flooding that comes from the Sugar River. They tell me the area near Avon could be next. In Broadhead, I'm Rose Schmidt for WISC News 3.
Well, if you live in Greene County and need sandbags, you can call the County Highway Department, but right now they only have empty bags, meaning you're going to have to come up with your own sand. Governor Walker visited a shelter set up at Mazomanie Elementary School this morning. He has declared a state of emergency, which means Dane County can get some help fixing roads faster with help from the Department of Transportation. Governor Walker says the people impacted by the flooding will get help from the county and state, but it is still unclear if the federal government will help as well. To volunteer with flood relief efforts, please call the Dane County Emergency Management Hotline. You can also donate money or items to Goodwill, Second Harvest Food Bank, and St. Vincent de Paul. Local car dealerships have been inundated with vehicles towed to them from the floodwaters this week. Many times the owners don't even know where their cars went. Amanda Quintana shares why this is simply overwhelming our local service shops. Amanda?
Yes, well, the city towed most of those cars that were stuck in the water to local dealerships. So Toyotas to the Toyota dealership, Jeeps to the Jeep dealership, often without keys and no way to contact the owner. I'm told that that is very unusual. Smart Motors is pushed to capacity with about 60 Toyotas in their lot brought in just 2 days. They haven't been able to find the owner for one of them still, and they've only been able to drain the water and clean up less than a dozen of those cars.
We don't have authorization to touch these cars yet, for one thing, and they're probably going to be totals anyway. So for us to go and try to, I don't have the resources to do that to all those cars and the time it would take. So some of these cars have been here 3 days while we've been waiting to hear, and if you go out and open that car up, it is putrid. I mean, it's just horrible.
Jim Ward says almost all of them were totals from the moment they were in that water. Many of them soaked up to the cup holders about the level of the driver's knees, and that is causing mold and corrosion and water in the engine, something he says he's never really seen before. Some insurance adjusters aren't even coming to look at the cars to determine the extent of the damage. The owner is just sending them a picture of their car submerged in water, and they know that it is totaled.
Amanda Quintana live in the newsroom. Amanda, thank you. Flood cleanup already underway in one area neighborhood. We'll hear from residents as they dig through the muck and the debris next at 6. Welcome back. Some people living in Madison's Shorewood Hills neighborhood, the village there, are bracing for more rain with brooms in hand. They spent today cleaning up from the flooding. Jamie Perez shares how they're coming together during these hard times.
3 days. That's how long it's been since floodwaters filled this neighborhood.
We never saw a flood like this.
Burbank Place is one of the hardest hit streets. Garbage and damaged household items line the front yards, everything unusable. The homes unlivable. Every car on the street totaled. Even the walls collapsed.
No renter's insurance. That's not helping anything at all. It pretty much looks like nobody is going to do anything for us, the tenants.
Like Tim, many don't have renter's insurance, no one has flood insurance, and almost all of them will be homeless. The damage is so bad on this street, a group of recently graduated high schoolers came to offer help before school starts.
You see older people, and it's tough enough, you know, having to watch them clean out all this stuff. So I'd rather just be there to, you know, help them move, especially just the heavier stuff, so it's less of a burden.
And they're trying to make it even less of a burden. They've called for backup on Snapchat. You can see with your own eyes it's tough, especially seeing Fanny Hicklin try to clean her home. She turns 100 years old tomorrow.
Never had anything like this.
You're 100 years old and you're out here raking and...
Well, I can do that. I have something to lean on.
The stench of working in rotting floodwaters, cleaning out basements, seems almost impossible for some.
It's devastating. It's devastating to see the impact on individual families.
But many are just trying to see it in the only way they know how.
That's what's important. Everything's replaceable. It's, you know, everyone's alive and safe. That's really what matters here.
In Madison, Jamie Perez, WISC News 3.
The residents built a flood wall there years ago. They said it has worked in the past floodwaters, but this time it was not enough.
And unfortunately, more rain is on the way for tomorrow. We'll talk timing and totals in your First Alert forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
Dave Caulfield joining us now as we look to tomorrow and even into next week. This is going to be a concern.
Yeah, not just the rain for Friday, but our long-term models into next week. Sunday, basically through the next weekend, we do have a chance for rain chances. So first round arrives on Friday, and we're looking at those systems of low-pressure systems to the north and west. And those will arrive by the time we get to tomorrow. High pressure controlling us right now, so nothing to worry about at the present time. But into tomorrow, multiple more inches of rain are possible for southern Wisconsin. We just don't need it, folks. We saw on Monday just the incredible amount of rain that fell across western Dane County, and that's filtering into all the lakes and rivers right now. In Madison at the airport alone, we're talking about 8.5 inches of rain so far this August, and we could add to that as we head into the next couple of days. Already the third wettest August on record is this one in 2018. Here is our next low pressure system on radar. You can see that spin there as it continues to move to the east, causing some severe weather for portions of South Dakota. That will continue to track to the south and east over the next couple of hours and impact us as early as tomorrow morning. And some of us could see these storms not only produce heavy rain, but also some hail and damaging gusty winds, especially for the southwestern tip of Wisconsin. Slight risk there for severe weather into Friday. And for the rest of us, especially for Madison and spots to the west, we're looking at a marginal risk. So an alert day is in the forecast. You can see why for the showers and thunderstorms, heavy rain potential into Friday. Also, maybe some isolated strong to even severe thunderstorms not out of the question. A live look in Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam. Looking good right now. I wish this would stick around for the next week or so, but that's not looking like it will be the case. 74 degrees, calm wind, dew point at 55. Temperatures across some other spots, 73 in Watertown, 74 in the Dells, 76 in Lone Rock, and 74 in Platteville. Dew points are in the mid-50s, but also we're noticing the 60s return to southwestern Wisconsin. So these low dew points, if they stuck around, would really help us tomorrow, but I think we're going to see a surge of humidity into the area by the time we get to tomorrow with that low pressure system getting closer. And we can see that on future track, at least the rain starting early on Friday morning for southwestern Wisconsin. Then multiple rounds of scattered showers and thunderstorms possible into late Friday and early Saturday before this thing gets out of here. Saturday will be mostly dry, but before that, about 1 inch to 2 inches of rain. Locally heavier amounts are possible by the time we get to Saturday. Hopefully we come out on the low end of these totals, but confidence is increasing that those rain totals will go up by the time we get to Saturday. Tonight, increasing clouds with those scattered showers and thunderstorms late. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy and showers and thunderstorms around, out and about for tomorrow into early Saturday morning. Your 7-day forecast showing Saturday the only dry day on the 10-day forecast. Just remarkable unsettled weather settling in by the time we get to next week, and temperatures are in the upper 80s for Sunday and Monday.
Now that Joe Thomas is retired from the NFL's Cleveland Browns, what's next? Well, he says more trips to Cleveland. The story's coming up in sports. With 8 days before the first game of the season, the Badger football team continues to focus on Western Kentucky a week from tomorrow. With the Urban Meyer situation at Ohio State and the Quintez Cephas, Danny Davis matter here, you might wonder what's being done around here to prevent those kind of situations in the future. Head coach Paul Chryst says the UW is working to do that.
Every one of these guys participates in university-mandated things with dealing with all certain types of conduct, and then, you know, as an athletic department, we do it. You know, there's NCAA things you do, and then within the program, and you're always just trying to find ways that you can help message and help them grow. And you always look at what you're doing and how can you do it better, and you're constantly trying to assess that, really.
The Packers play in Oakland tomorrow night with kickoff at 9:30 Madison time. It'll be the first road trip of the season for the Packers, so there's a lot to take care of. Did you know the Packers take 2 planes on the road? Even that could have its complications.
Oh, you know, with time the first plane leaves, with time the second plane leaves, who's on that plane, the rookies, you know, there's some traditional things that go on between rookies and veterans, you know, how we dress, you know, how we behave. It's a business trip. Represent the Green Bay Packers, you know, plenty of pleas and thank yous.
Congratulations to former Lodi High School running back Jacob Hayroth. He was named the Wisconsin State High School Football Player of the Year last night at the 7th Annual Wisconsin Sports Awards in Milwaukee. Strangely, there was plenty of talk about Cleveland by a couple of former Madisonians. Joe Thomas was named the Homegrown Athlete of the Year. Thomas retired from the NFL, of course. He and his wife, former Badger basketball star Annie Nelson, are expecting their 4th child later this month. Thomas says he's looking at his options to become a broadcaster and won't be too far away from his adopted home of Cleveland.
Yeah, we live in the Madison area. That's where we went to school, and I'm going to be spending a good bit of time still in Cleveland. I'm a big fan of Cleveland, so I'll be out there for a lot of the Browns games and enjoying the sights and sounds of Cleveland, even though I'm still living in Wisconsin.
And speaking of Cleveland, that's Sam Decker's new address, too. After being drafted by Houston and traded to the Clippers, Decker was sent to Cleveland just after LeBron James left for the Lakers. For Decker, it's the 3rd NBA team in 4 seasons in the league, but he's excited to go to the next chapter of his pro career.
New situation in Cleveland. I think there's real opportunity there to get back to that and get back to that comfortability and feel like me. So I'm pumped for it. I can't wait to get started and just get to work.
The high school football weekend is getting an early start tonight. The Baraboo at Stoughton varsity football game has been moved to 7 o'clock tonight in Stoughton. Madison East and West have moved their game to Saturday afternoon at 1 at Lucier Stadium. And our Prep Mania game of the week, as scheduled so far, Middleton travels to Verona in an early season Big 8 showdown. Bill Brophy, Alan Minard, and I will bring you the game live on TVW and streamed on channel3000.com, 7 o'clock tomorrow night. Some other games have shifted, at least game times Friday, so that could change a lot by tomorrow night.
Yeah, a lot of those fields, no doubt, still soaked and probably torn up, and more rain possibly coming.
Yeah, more rain on the way. Tomorrow, scattered showers and thunderstorms with us with highs in the 70s. Some of that rain lasting into Saturday morning.
Thanks for joining us. We'll be back tonight for News 3 at 10. Have a good evening.
Download the new Channel 3000 app and get alerted on your mobile device the minute news breaks. Wherever you go, be the first to know with Channel 3000.